Iconic Man. Proudly brought to you by Men and Boys for Gender Equality in partnership with National AIDS and Health Promotion Agency, NAPA, under the Boys Arise.Nanognag campaign, inspiring men, transforming communities.
It's definitely iconic men on Gabz FM, power to engage your world. We're back with another conversation. Re Lunga, welcome back. Please lead us to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Dola, and good afternoon to your listeners. Today we are joined by Zolani Kraai, who's the director at Gender Fountain. And remember, Gender Fountain is one of the partners that we're working with at the Brothers Arise campaign. And we have the pleasure of welcoming Zolani Kraai. Thank you so much. Maybe give us a brief background around Gender Fountain, the Smuzeling, and what is your co-mandate?
Well, thank you, Relunga. Gender Fountain Center was formed in 2012. It was conceived, the idea was conceived in 2012. By then, we had planned to implement for that very financial year. Unfortunately, due to lack of funds, we couldn't. And there, we had to focus only on HIV prevention.
Yes.
So the concept or the component there, gender-based violence, came on board CAT 2021. And we are fully active CAT 2023. So our core mandate is to target men and boys. And as we may know, in the society they are labeled as perpetrators, eventually from a man to a boy child. I mean, from a boy child to a man. So we will discuss the driving factors of that in actual fact. So basically, we are targeting secondary school going kids, particularly borre. And then out of school youth, that's where we are at the moment.
Thank you very much, Zolani Kraai. Zolani Kraai, there's a growing concern really around the boy child. There isn't much being done. From the family structure, when we're raising the boy child, the amount of effort that is put in grooming and mentoring the boy child vis-a-vis the amount of effort that is put towards the girl child. We have also research. There's a recent study done by the World Bank that indicated that young boys face more violence in their families than the girl child. So today we are discussing GBV and the boy child. What is your general take on the topic?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that you made a reference to the World Bank research study. For now, we are lobbying based on that, on your findings. For now, we are lobbying partners, stakeholders, and other interested parties to also have a study conducted in Botswana. That is what we are currently lobbying for. Well, considering the fact that Gender Leaks once conducted a study in Botswana, so we feel that apart from the relationship study that was conducted in Botswana, we feel that time is now to also conduct a study that will actually determine the level of abuse, the level of vulnerability. Talking in terms of upbringing and parental guidance. So that's one point that we're actually working on right now. But allow me to state that, yes, there's a big component. There's what you call direct exposure and violence. So I'm going to single out only three factors that determine what I'm talking about. Those three factors that determine why we are saying the man, boy child, what are those factors that vulnerable eventually become a perpetrator? So the first factor is sexual violence. But what about the sexual violence? Well, in the community or in the society, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about now. And we haven't done any study or research about that, but we utlwa in the community gore gantsi ba rapiwa ke bo batho ba nkare ba na le itshulelo e rileng and ba ba entice ka tsela tse di harologaneng. Recently in one of the villages that we are working in, ke gore bana ba bashimanyana ne ba bua gore ha bo maloma bone ba tswa maitisong ba eta ba ba phora, you can tell from a distance that go simolla gone ho. So the second factor, there are three factors. The second factor is child abuse. Of course, like girls, we tell a lot of boys can be victims of physical and emotional abuse from their parents. There's an incident that happened in Kumuchudi recently where this young man was beaten Mohutsa Mutoko by his stepfather. You know, Hutsa Mutoko Mungara Namuda Galuter Saitur Gadika Katsala and Zenya. So boys live on either experiencing child abuse. And also emotional abuse, from their caregivers. Tokohale to give outside, to give outside your dad or your mom, even if parents were cohabitating or they were in the matrimonial home. But at the end of the day, we're affected being abused emotionally. And other adults, you know what I mean? So when I'm seeing and also what I child marriage, I want to put this one and bold it, child marriage. A victim into child marriage.
Marriage?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's less common than girls.
This is actually the first time I hear of a boy child being involved in child marriage.
Well, we haven't had studies. What I'm saying, how we borrow from our international, how we borrow from other journals, we borrow from other studies that are conducted globally. But we should be prepared for these events in case we really prepared. How do we address them? And we can only do that in the community dialogue. You see what I mean? So that is why how Ngare Bereka's brothers arise. The community dialogue where we touch on issues that have never affected us before, but eventually we are ready to tackle them out. So those are the three factors. We feel that exposed that direct exposure to ngwana musimane.
Ke kopa go tshwara ho ke tsela rona le mongwe o na leng ka kgelo. Gabz FM, you are live on radio. Hi.
According to Jesus, to let mo le sakeng le senang ditonki go lona le dipitsela ba sa tlhakanya le ditonki.
Ra?
Ka re le sakalele le tseletseng Jesus go iteng go no go sena ditonki mo teng go no go na le dipitse he.
Nya, thank you. Thank you.
Two.
I don't know I don't get right. Ray Kraai, I want us to zoom into the family structure, in particular the corporal punishment endures more pain. The relationship between the father and son and how it is. I know a lot of times but are there other alternatives?
Hi, growing up as a young man, Hansiana Hari discussed at Hanse Relunga. Hobata Momutuana Abu Alebatu Kasena seats in cycling I say experience. You know, Hobotoko Ocho Hapakaro Musimane. And then Honcho Honzejalo Mongo Yaronarle Bachuana, or in our African or in the African context. More punishment thing. Punishment they diragala itala and when na severe. Mongonanga Musimana Setsan. Because we have already accustomed to that.
Yeah, right. You know why? Remember go skolo gorahane re tsene mo mathateng le baratsana le bone mo classing go modumo whatever it may be na go tsa corporal punishment ne le gore go tlebe go tenya go rela re mosetsana re tla mo hatse tharo kana tse pedi mosimane go rela ro tla tsafo.
Yeah, let me give an example. I want listeners out there to actually understand this from a personal experience. And peer pressure, of course, at the end of the day. ha re sa utlwe re kwalela banyana makwalo bo dido o as pass le sa molo ba sele ha teachera go tshwara lekolo la teng, you know what happens, ha ra go classroom ko officing ya ga mogokgo ne re pagama tafole go te ke yone brown horse pagama tafole o rapa magodimo ga tafole go te ke yone brown horse o itwa bothoko mo maragong wa le bona mosetsana bone ha ba ile molato di sa le bogonyana la gago eno go twa ka rulanyana helana and stuff like that. So that build and negativity hela e bothoko mo go maso in terms of proper punishment. So hela ona le that anger ya gore tota hela go why me as a boy child he deserve this kind of severe punishment. But hela at the same time happe more in the family structure when I lead the cultural and traditional norms tse le gore tela mo dira gore re itse gore monna o tshwantse gore ta ha a kgalemelo ka tsela e rileng e no hileng gore a khone gore a tshware sentle tholaganyo ga e bereke sentle, and that has actually worked against us as boys and as men. So we feel that we need to reconsider the other means of punishment. Give that boy child love at a very young age. Equally, at least at the end of the day, I told you you should water the garden, water the vegetables and stuff like that. No, make sure that you clean the house, help your sister. Only that balance, that balancing equation between the two. You see, so that's what we are advocating for.
And I want to emphasize clear communication. And I think that's what has been absent in a lot of how we raise the boy child. To communicate lane, to teach that boy child how to solve problems or challenges without necessarily using violence. Or we are quick to say no, as it to paela Moshapi, without sitting down and explaining to this child how so Ari libelle within our school environment. Statistics is showing that the boy child is failing. They are not performing very well at school. Even when we look at our figures in terms of the universities, the female child is now graduating more than the boy child. Is the scale tilting, and what needs to be done?
Hey, Ghana, Aribeyana, Mr. Lunga. How we got the school set up? We got Batswana habanzi babua, in whatever setup. Modida loko ngana kai. Mototla ba rona nna kana re godisitswe jana. Kana kwa rona. Kana kwa rona ne re rothaiwa ka tselentseng So ga be go tenya molemo o leng teng kwa thupa. That is in the school setup. So and re bere hela re ipela hatsa ka gore nna kana bona re le ha re leng tenyana totala ne re betswa ne re khalemelo and stuff like that. Nowadays the whole complexion has changed. There are several dynamics tse di rang gore re ka bua gore go changile the elements of the human rights, the tshwanelo tsa batho di tsone that are contributing to that. But then we've seen bana pumpeko ba nna dingalo ba nna stubborn, ba nna stubborn why in the school setup. So now I feel like brown horse. You know what I mean? But we should forget about the human rights a bit. You know what I mean? Because the human rights for now and forever. Society irresponsible because Rwanda humpekwana bana ba itirela hela ha o tsama mo mebile mo bona bana ba basimane mpe go bua ka bana basimane hela basimala go ga dilo tsa bone tse di kopokopaneng tse di tagi tse di kopokopaneng ko sekolong ha e seng konte ga sekolo mo sekolong and ha tishara tla a re ibile ka khalemela tishara teile ha tla o le ba go sele tibisa go sele because ha sone ba di ja tsone di tlhatsana tsone tseo kana di tagi tsone tseo ha ka re o ntsha le go kohela ba mo atheka. And so we should be careful, we should tread carefully how we are getting but there's only one or there are a couple of remedies that you can put in place by actually applying what you call edutainment. Really, brothers Arise and really, Agenda Fountain Rari, edutainment. Back in the days, we used to have YOHO, Youth Health Organization, which did quite a very good job. You know what I mean in terms of edutainment. So we are saying, as much as it's important to sensitize and raise awareness about GBV and HIV prevention in the schools, let us add a little bit of spicy stuff. You know what? To entice, and react the showcase. Reflect at that particular moment. Reflect the further for that story, that drama. Maybe I can be good at it as well. You know what I mean?
Ko di advertent re tla bua Mr. Lunga ka ikhapula na kwa teng tota ya boyo ya boja speed bo speakijo no tsara la lo rabo.
Iconic Man, proudly brought to you by Men and Boys for Gender Equality in partnership with National AIDS and Health Promotion Agency, NAPA, under the Boys Arise.Nanognag campaign, inspiring men, transforming communities.
If you're joining us, we are still in conversation with Ray Kraai from Gender Fountain, and we're talking the boy child and GBV, gender-based violence that surrounds the boy child. Ray Kraai, the entertainment, edutainment, in terms of how we can engage bana because you've highlighted issues, study drugs, you've highlighted issues our teacher they're now even scared to address banaba. So you were saying edutainment can be one of the methods. What other methods can we be able to enroll or engage banaba Siman through?
Because you are tasked to take care of that koskolo kahayano hello batsabayano.
Yeah, you know what? And I must thank NAPA. For giving us an opportunity to explore some of the avenues they have never actually been exposed to. So there's what is called GBV screening. GBV screening is kind of a research sort of, but you develop a questionnaire. It's a one-page questionnaire where you seek consent to the school management, to hear out maikutlo abana basikolo. So you go one-on-one or face-to-face near a student. Quite often, like Ori Primary School, it takes about 3 days to do that, to conduct that kind of process. So what I'm saying, Relunga Gohore, GBV screening, those questions, whether you like it or not, Relunga, they will hit you hard. Because then we delay direct, then we delay indirect. By the end of the day, you say, one seller, one naha, selimu ituti. And eye contact is very, very important. You must make muituti aho feel lo yana umufile. You know, uskwat like a you are a specialist or you are an expert, and then you know everything, and therefore go and out in single song. Allow him to feel relaxed and actually express himself. So one boy once told me that that's what he needs only. A student who's an expatriate. So aba alo ala tata le mono then gora ro boela go gae. Ha ba tshwantse re ba sale le mmabo ne mono mo Botswana. Mmabo le ena ba ya boitaolong le ena simola tsa mali di plus and janja. So bana ba gora ba go thokomala ke guardian. Guardian I think ke motsadi ke mosadi mo go odile. So we are simply saying yes. We can actually use that platform to go one-on-one le ngwana mosimane in a separate in our own nest. We analyze and eventually at the end of the day we can refer them to the relevant stakeholders for further counseling, psychological, psychosocial, and whatever. So those are some of the issues that we can do. Remind me of that question again in conclusion.
No, think about you're actually in that because you're looking at the different methodologies that we can be able to use to engage anyone or Musiman. You've talked about what teacher and the environment that they are in. Where does government come in to protect the teachers? Is there a particular training that as Gender Fountain you do? Are you engaging directly with teachers to say, use play as a method that you can use to engage Bana openly, have conversations with them? Because we all agree we're changing, society is changing. The way you were raised and the way you experienced your school days is different from the modern child, and how they are raised.
Yeah, no, nothing. To be honest with you, and I'll try by all means not to be biased. I'm tempted to be biased somehow. That's why we are getting funding as a civil society to actually, reach out the thing. All right? But now, here is what we need to do. When we come up with activities, there's a little bit of resistance somewhere, somehow, in some of the government departments. And I'm not going to single out what but we feel that I think the Minister of Education, or get a basic education, they should actually appreciate what the civil society is doing to help the teachers out there, because we have guidance and counseling teachers, of course, but the civil society, we come on board as to complement what they are doing. So I must say, yeah, Gavi is doing very well, but to say civil society to complement government efforts fighting GBV. So this is to say we should actually increase more time to sensitize students, especially about prize giving ceremony, where parents and teachers associations are the PTA that are there, so that I appreciate to rewriting. And also really get what's the film, you know what I mean, movies at school. The screen idea super movies what are related to GBV and HIV prevention. 1 hour of presentation. You can actually show a 30-minute documentary or 15-minute documentary. Go school to show Bana what these are the consequences of GBV. But we should appreciate Gavi. We are still facing resistance from other departments, but I think hopefully that will thing.
It's a time where things are changing. Really, Bella, issues social media, issues of pornography. These are issues that the current boy child is struggling with. How prepared are we as a society in general to be able to support the boy child? You also highlighted issue of absent fathers. The fact that maybe we'll talk about this at a later stage, where kids do not know their fathers, and especially the boy child, it impacts them. So as a society, what is our role looking at such a climate?
Hey, also the point that you are raising, recently I saw in the social media what government intends to shut down pornography websites and stuff like that. You see, and how can I talk? Getting what's who care about some of these things, because some of these guys, what they do, from our observations, they would watch these pornographic scenes, then they would go and put it into practice. So they would take some stuff, then we you know what I mean? So that's basically what happens. But at the end of the day, around Haborone catchment area where ngwana msimana go lela molola pen le lena le goti raijore raing goti. So ngwana msimana go lela mo goting, expectation from us as a community outside go simula go ga dintinja akere edicats and stuff like that. So abahela na vulnerable to such activities that we went. So I take it that Lord Nabatsa di hela, bogolo hona ne rizora hamutu. I have to say it out. Bogolo holo ne rizora hamutu hawola. Nabata ho gazolo. Wa go so kwenku and uta
call bete.
And ha tswa kwa bona batwana wa so wa siya and you go and sleep, you know what I mean? So nowadays we feel that batsadi le bone we should actually work, pull up our socks. Re le tlogela go ira dilo tse di hatlang gape le ga bana.
True.
Ke fitse selo se gore se re se rotloetse mo batsading, and le mo social media hela malatsing a go setse go trend hela thata, and mo e leng gore ngwana mosimane o kgona ithala itilo ke stepfather, and a re wa botsa gore mo itetse ithala gore this boy when a na le the whole day as I just said, and the stepfather when ha tla kwa tswang teng a ba ithala gore this young man o jele dijo, and he thought you tse ke tsa gagwe ka nteng mosimane o ene tsore ke tsa go di mo microwave. Stepfather o tswa kwa tswang teng o tla le mo plugeng. So
this issue, Ray Kraai, it calls us as men to really reflect, because at the end of the day, Tota is not really what is a stepfather or is not a stepfather. It's the relationship that we have with Bana Baba Simane as men. Let's be able to teach them to speak more. Let's speak more. Let's play that fatherhood role. Let's also have sports. I think a lot of sports in schools helped gore bana ba khone gore ba ge di coach di khone go bua le bone. We don't have time, Ray Kraai. I would want to thank you for your time. What are your last words before?
In literally 2 seconds, Ray Kraai. It's 1 o'clock at time.
My last words would be to lobby relevant stakeholders and guide over the baseline survey that will determine the driving factors of GBV. Basically, that's what we are asking Gavi and relevant stakeholders, development partners, to develop a baseline survey.
Thank you very much, Ray Kraai. Thank you, Dollar, and thank you to your listeners.
Cheers.